Don't take your family. They're low class. Not on my level. She said it with a smile, sugar-laced poison. My sister, Vanessa. Draped in designer, wrapped in delusion. A penthouse Barbie, with a champagne sneer. The Christmas party was her domain. All-white decor, imported flowers, and a guest list curated like a trophy shelf. And she wanted me to leave my real family behind. The ones who raised me when our mother left. The ones who taught me to make rice stretch for days. The ones who had nothing, but gave me everything. My name is Elena James. And from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Have you ever been told to be ashamed of the people who built your bones? I brought them anyway. All of them. My dad in his worn-out jacket. My stepmom in Payless flats. Even little Benny with his chipped tooth and stained sweatshirt. We walked into that marble ballroom like royalty. Heads turned. Vanessa's smile tightened like a corset. Wow, she said through gritted teeth, pulling me aside. This was supposed to be elegant. I didn't blink. They're elegant. You just forgot what grace looks like without a price tag. Dinner was served. Small talk buzzed like a mosquito swarm. Vanessa raised her glass. A toast, she said. To family. The ones who know how to dress. She stared directly at Dad's old flannel. Laughter rippled, cruel, soft, weaponized. I stood. Tapped my glass. To my stepsister, I said. The one who thinks she's rich because her boyfriend pays for her handbags. The room froze. I smiled. And, by the way, I'll be cutting off the Amex. No more spa days, no more rent. Merry Christmas. Her face drained like melting ice. Every smile in that room vanished. Even the candles flickered like they didn't want to be part of it. Vanessa blinked like she'd been slapped. But I hadn't even raised my hand. Just my voice. And the truth did all the hitting. What are you talking about? She stammered. The whole room watched. Forks paused. Conversations died. Her champagne flute trembled in her hand. I walked around the table slowly. You've been living off me for 2 years, Vanessa. I paid for your Cartier bracelet. Your Miami girls trip. Even that dress you're standing in. You know, the one you said was custom? I pulled the receipt from my clutch and laid it on the table. Neiman Marcus. My name. $3,250. Paid in full. She turned to Chase, her so-called boyfriend. The one with too much hair gel and too little backbone. Baby, she's twisting things. But he looked at her with new eyes. Eyes that suddenly saw the unpaid credit card bill on his kitchen counter. Eyes that noticed her stories never quite added up. My family sat silent. Not embarrassed, but confused. My dad leaned over to me, whispered, "You didn't have to do this." I looked him in the eye. I did. She humiliated you in front of strangers. I won't let her pretend anymore. Vanessa laughed, brittle, high-pitched, desperate. She's just mad because I've always been the pretty one, the successful one. I smiled. Tell them what you do, Vanessa. I'll wait. She opened her mouth, closed it.
Because what could she say?
That she posted affiliate links on Instagram and called herself an entrepreneur? That she hadn't paid rent since March? I turned to the crowd. I own a startup with 45 employees. Built from scratch. Self-funded. And yes, I brought my low-class family tonight. Because they never pretended to be better than they are. Silence again. But this time, heavy. Honest. Vanessa's illusion cracked in front of everyone. And for the first time in her curated life, she had nothing to hide behind. No filters. No lies. No me footing the bill. The crown she built out of borrowed money and other people's pride was crumbling right on her perfect little head. She stormed off. Not to cry. Vanessa doesn't cry in public. She poses like she's about to cry, waits for the sympathy, and then flips it into a story about someone else being jealous. But this time, no one followed her. I gave her a few minutes, then walked into the guest bathroom, where she was hunched over the marble sink, fixing her lipstick like war paint. "You ruined my night," she hissed. "No," I said, closing the door behind me. "I ended your performance." She spun around. "You think this makes you powerful? humiliating me in front of my friends. I leaned against the door. You humiliated Dad. You humiliated everyone who loved you before your fake followers and free PR packages. I'm not here for revenge, Vanessa. I'm here for reality.
She scoffed.
You wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for me. I introduced you to that investor, remember? I put you in a room. I stepped closer. You put me in a room. But I built it. You wouldn't even know where to start without someone handing you the floor plan. Her hand trembled as she reapplied lip gloss she could no longer afford. This isn't you, she whispered. You used to be quiet. You used to let things go. I nodded slowly.
Yeah.
I did. But then I realized silence only serves the ones who never shut up. She sank down on the edge of the bathtub, for once not posing, just exhausted. Not from work, from wearing a costume for so long. You can't just cut me off, she said, almost like a plea. I don't have anything else right now. I looked down at her, the sister who once poured soda in my shoes before prom, who laughed when I got rejected from colleges, who mocked Mom for working in retail. You don't have anything else because you burned every bridge behind you and never learned how to swim. I opened the door to leave. But before I did, I looked back and said, if you want to start over, Vanessa, you'll have to do it without using my name as a ladder. The party staggered on like a wounded animal. Glasses clinked, but no one really laughed anymore. People avoided eye contact, afraid the truth might jump out and stick to them. I returned to my family's table. Dad was rubbing his hands together, nervous. He'd worn cologne for the first time in years. Stepmom had curled her hair and smiled all night, even while Vanessa mocked her thrift store necklace. And now they just looked tired. I didn't mean for it to be like this, I said quietly. Dad smiled. You stood up. That's more than most people do in this world. I looked around. Vanessa's friends avoided me now. No more air kisses. No more fake admiration. Just a room full of people who couldn't figure out if I was a villain or the only honest person there. The band started playing something soft and spineless. The caterers brought out dessert, gold-dusted meringue, served cold. Vanessa stayed hidden. Chase approached the table, alone. He cleared his throat, his confidence now as wrinkled as his shirt sleeves. Hey, Elena.
I didn't know all that.
She told me she ran your company's social media, that she helped build your brand. I raised an eyebrow. She posted one graphic and spelled strategy wrong. He flushed. Well, I guess that's the last lie then. He pulled out a checkbook. Yes, a checkbook. And handed me a folded piece of paper. I know she owes you. I can't fix what she broke, but I can at least cover what's left. That's what real partners do. I unfolded the check. $14,000. Just a fraction of what Vanessa had burned in my name, but it wasn't about the money. It was the first time anyone associated with her had shown me respect. I handed it back. You want to do something meaningful? Let her clean up her own mess. And next time, ask the girl where her money comes from before you let her shame someone else's family. He nodded, walked away. Vanessa picked them for style. I picked mine for soul. And that's what really separated us. 3 days later, she posted a photo. Vanessa, in her bathrobe. No makeup. Caption. Just taking time to reconnect with what really matters. Family, gratitude, and authenticity. 2 hearts hashtag, healing hashtag, humbled hashtag, blessed. The comments flooded in. You're so strong, babe. Only real queens bounce back like this. We love a growth arc. I stared at the screen in disbelief. She was turning humiliation into a hashtag. My silence into her sympathy. She hadn't spoken to me since the party. No apology. No message. Just a carefully filtered rebrand, as if vulnerability was a prop she could borrow until the next invite-only gala.
I sent her a DM.
Simple.
Direct.
You don't get to hijack the truth. Not anymore. No reply. Just a story the next morning. Her standing on a balcony, holding a book upside down, captioned, "Growth is uncomfortable, but necessary." She was using my pain as her platform. Again. That afternoon, I got a call from a woman named Naomi, a podcast host who interviewed female founders. I saw the Christmas clip circulating, she said. It's raw.
Brave.
I'd love to have you on. My first instinct was to say no. But then I thought about every girl who'd ever been told to hide her roots, to shrink in the shadow of someone else's performance. So, I said yes. And when we recorded, I told it all. Not the version Vanessa liked to sell,
But the real one.
about growing up in a tiny apartment while my sister lived with our mom's wealthy second husband. About working 3 jobs in college while she got eyelash extensions with my tuition refund. About how I built my company at night while she borrowed my credit cards to look the part. The episode dropped that Friday. It went viral by Sunday. Not because I cried, but because I didn't. I told the truth without makeup or mercy. And the world listened. The next day, Vanessa called. Her voice shaky. You had no right. I exhaled. You had no idea who you were talking to at that table, Vanessa. But now you do. By Monday, brands started dropping her. The vegan skincare company she repped removed her from their homepage. The boutique clothing line she tagged in every photo posted a cryptic statement. We stand with real stories, not borrowed ones. Vanessa's followers dipped. Her sponsored content dried up. And suddenly, her world, the curated, polished, airbrushed illusion, began to crack. She texted me. Speech balloon, please. You don't know what this is doing to me. Speech balloon, I never thought it would go this far. Speech balloon, you've made your point, Elena. I didn't respond. Because this wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about consequences. The next day, my stepmom called. She's here.
What?
I asked. At her house. In the driveway. Crying. I drove over. Vanessa was sitting on the hood of her Mercedes like it still meant something. Mascara smudged. Nails chipped. Not camera-ready, human. When she saw me, she stood up fast. I lost everything. No, I said. You lost access. She looked around, like the trees might defend her. I didn't mean for this to spiral. I liked being someone. You were someone, I said. But you kept trading her in for someone shinier. She swallowed hard. You don't know what it's like. To feel like you have to prove you belong somewhere. Anywhere. I stepped closer. I do know. I just never lied to get there. She exhaled, shaky. Are you going to let this keep going? I crossed my arms. I didn't create this storm, Vanessa. I just stopped holding up your umbrella. She leaned back against the car, small now. Almost quiet. I need help, she whispered. Not entitled. Not strategic. Just a girl with nothing left to fake. I looked at her. Really looked. She wasn't wearing armor anymore. And maybe that's where healing finally begins. But not yet. Not before she owned every piece of what she broke. A week passed. No posts. No filters. Just digital silence where Vanessa used to parade. Then one morning, a courier dropped off a pale blue envelope at my office. Handwritten. No stamps. Just my name. Inside was a letter. Pen on paper. Not typed. Not ghostwritten. Real. Elena, I don't deserve your time. But I need your understanding. I spent my whole life trying to outrun the girl I used to be. The one who watched mom pick me over you. Who wore guilt like diamonds. Who only felt safe when someone else was beneath her. You never were beneath me. You were ahead. And I hated you for it. I used your kindness. I built my image on the bones of your silence. And still you showed up. You brought our family into that room. And brought me face to face with the truth.
I'm sorry.
Not because I got caught, but because I finally saw myself through your eyes. If there's a path back from this, I'll walk it. But only if I build it myself. No signature. Just a folded photo tucked inside, me and her as kids, grinning in matching red sweaters, before money ever mattered. That evening, I read the letter aloud at dinner with Dad and Stepmom. They sat still, absorbing every word like it came with weight. I don't know what to do, I said, voice low. Stepmom nodded. You don't have to do anything. Not yet. Just let her walk her talk. And that's exactly what I did. The next day, Vanessa started volunteering at a local shelter, No cameras. No captions. Just work. Quiet.
Heavy. Honest.
A month later, I got a notification. She tagged me in a post. Black screen. White text. Sometimes the most expensive thing you lose is the version of yourself that wasn't real. Thank you, Elena, for making me face her.
I stared at it for a long time.
Not because I needed her thanks, but because I finally saw my sister, not her shadow. And this time, she wasn't posing. She was standing. Spring came slow that year, but when it did, it felt earned, like everything blooming had survived a storm. Vanessa showed up at my office unannounced. No makeup, no designer labels, just jeans, an oversized sweater, and a look I hadn't seen in years, humility without shame. I didn't come to ask for anything, she said. I just wanted to say it in person. I nodded. Say it then. She exhaled. I'm sorry I turned your love into a ladder. I'm sorry I used your silence as a stage. And I'm sorry for calling our family low class when they've shown more grace than I ever have. She didn't cry. She didn't expect forgiveness. She just stood there, waiting. I motioned to the chair across from me. She sat down. You've changed, I said. She gave a sad smile. Losing everything has a way of doing that. I tapped my pen against my notebook. Good. Keep losing the things that were never really yours to begin with. She nodded. I am. Every day. That afternoon, I took her to Dad's place. No announcement. No drama. Just showed up with her like she was finally home. He opened the door, saw her, and paused. She whispered, I know I hurt you. I don't expect anything. I just needed you to know I finally see you. He opened the door wider. She stepped in. No one cried. No speeches. Just the sound of healing starting slow and quiet. Weeks later, I watched her from across the street, hair pulled back, laughing with kids outside a community center. Not performing. Not pretending. Just present. And me? I stopped apologizing for outgrowing people who expected me to shrink. I stopped carrying the weight of her masks. I started living without waiting for a stage to prove I belonged. Because I never needed a platform. Just a spine. And when I found it, everything changed. The girl she mocked for having a low-class family turned out to be the one who never needed anyone's borrowed crown. She found her own.